All right, so welcome. My name is Angela Potts-Mang'andah. I'm going to be hosting today and sharing the message. And we have Andrea Lane and Billy doing our music. And so excited to be here. Thank you for being here, and thank you for those who are listening later. I often say, like, there's so many things we could be doing. Okay, if you get a closer up look of my fingernails, I was supposed to have I was going to do something, but instead I gardened. So now I have dirt. But, we could be out gardening. There's just so many things we could be doing. But thank you for choosing to be here at Sundays with Spirit. We're grateful to support Jennifer, who's heading back soon. She's still in Arizona. And April, who's behind the scenes, was with her. Woohoo! So there's been some healing happening in Scottsdale, Arizona. Yay, April, you did it. I'm so happy for you. So they just finished up the quantum counseling intensive, and they're on the Create and Lead a workshop with Karen Russo this weekend. So very exciting. Good to know that people are expanding themselves and supporting the healing of the one mind. So with that, I'm going to say a prayer to get us started. So if you would like to place your hands on your heart with me, or find that relaxed, open, available space. So grateful to gather in the name of love. Grateful to allow Spirit to open our hearts and minds. Grateful and willing to allow ourselves to vibrate at the frequency of peace, joy, freedom, wholeness, all the spiritual qualities. I am so grateful to have the opportunity to share with you today. So grateful to trust that Spirit is guiding my words and my message to reach each of you in your perfect, unique spot right here and now. So grateful to Andrea and Billy for being here, sharing their gifts, sharing their spirit, their energy, and lifting all of us up. So we know this will be a nourishing time. We place on the altar any and all distractions that would block the gift that is here and now. And in gratitude, we simply allow the blessings. We allow them to be. We receive them gratefully, and we share them with the one. In gratitude, we know it's done, and so it is. Amen. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to start by introducing our musicians today. And so singer-songwriter Andrea Lane is a multi-dimensional artist who tours with her husband, Billy Shank. Together, their songs represent freedom and transformation. Billy is also a featured speaker and an award-winning author, and Andrea's sound is like Lady Gaga meets John Lennon for tea on a spiritual retreat. Let's say that again. Andrea's sound is like Lady Gaga meets John Lennon for tea on a spiritual retreat. Okay. So we are so excited to have you here. Thank you for rocking it. Thank you, Andrea. So I'll give you the floor. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I'm Andrea, and this is Billy. We're so grateful to be here. This first song is brand new, and it's called Cosmic Peace. Everybody, 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 join your hands. Everybody, 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 lift your voice. Let's claim peace in our world. No more war in this place. We can start in our own home. We can start right here. We are called for freedom. We are called for peace. Everybody, 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 shine your lights. Everybody, 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 make that choice. Cosmic peace in our mind. Cosmic love in our hearts. We are multi-dimension. We are pure starlight. We are called for freedom. We are called for peace. Oh, Shanti. Oh, Shanti. Oh, Shanti. Oh, Shanti, Shanti. Oh, ooh. As you know, Om Shanti means peace, and I'm calling on peace for everyone, everywhere, and I know you're joining me. Shanti, 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 Shanti. Om Shanti, 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 Shanti. Oh. Shanti, 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 Shanti. Oh, Shanti, 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 Shanti. Oh. Are you chanting that? Shanti, 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 Shanti. Oh, Shanti, 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 Shanti. Oh, I can feel you. I can feel you. Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Shanti. Oh. Ooh. Shanti. Shanti Om.
Oh, yes. You totally rocked it. I knew you would. Thank you for getting us started like that. I mean, what would be a live performance? I would be just, okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. I knew it was going to be like that. And I loved the message. I'm going to try to ride this wave, like to the outer galaxies. I'm going to try to ride on this wave. Thank you. So we received the gift of our spirit being lifted. So grateful, so grateful. And I'm happy to see all of you guys here today. Happy to see some of you I know. And we have Nisi and Sage here. Woohoo! Yay, look at her. She's growing so quickly. Oh, yay. Okay, we got the young ones coming to Sundays with Spirit, the next generation. They're germinating, it's happening. So I'm so grateful to be speaking today. For those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Angela Potts-Mang'andah. I work on staff at the ministry, and I joined the ministry back in 2012. And so it's been a dozen years. So I live in Rhode Island, and I work part-time, and I'm a stay-at-home homeschooling mom. And caretaker of a home. So I'm very excited to be speaking. And actually, this is a part two. This is my first time I've done a series. I kind of felt like, oh, okay, let's do a series, a part two. And the title of this series is Committing to Seeing Our Loved Ones in Truth. So making a commitment to see our brothers and sisters in truth. Since we're with our loved ones often, they're the ones we really want to make the commitment for, because it's where the deep practice is. So I loved Andrea's song about that this starts in our home. That's where the war ends, and it starts in our mind, and in our home is where we practice. And I can say I get enough practice. Don't know if anyone else gets enough practice. And if it's not with another, thank you, it could be with yourself, because committing to seeing our brothers and sisters, our loved ones in truth, for some who live alone, you are with yourself. And I will say, you are a beloved. So committing to seeing yourself in truth. So it's the practice that the Course is guiding us to. And I'm just excited to add on to some of the things that I shared last week. So last week, I focused around a couple quotes in the Course, and I started with the quote from chapter 9, which is, it's not up to you to change your brother, but to accept him as he is. So I'm going to put that in the chat if I can, okay. So it's not up for us to change our brother, but the work is to accept our brother as he is. And so here's that quote. So I shared about that, and then I shared about how when we forget that, when we forget to be in a place of acceptance, we will experience the effects of that. And I shared just a story of an exchange with my dad, and how in his health journey, I had made a commitment not to give any advice, especially unsolicited advice. And then I did it like last week, and it was like I dipped my toe in the pool of advice giving. And he got frustrated. I felt so sad. It was like, oh God, I don't want to do that. And it was so like subtle. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a big blowout, but it's powerful. Like when we dip our toe in there, it doesn't feel good, but then we know, okay, not that, no. And Jennifer teaches that, and she frames it like we learn through contrast. And so, so we talked about that, how our role is to accept our brother. And that's a good starting point for seeing our brothers in truth. So if we're seeing them as they truly are, as light beings, as magnificent light beings, as one with the infinite creator, as a creation of the creator, if we choose and commit to seeing them in their innocence, we're going to be able to be at peace. Otherwise, we won't be able to. In some ways, I think, well, it's kind of a blessing. Life is set up this way that when we are, when we've, I'm going to use this analogy today, but when we've plugged in to Spirit's thought system, we're going to know, we're going to feel it. We'll get the effects of that. So I want to use this analogy today to imagine that, we all carry around like a plug. And maybe somebody else has made this analogy. I haven't heard it. And I'm not trying to be groundbreaking here, but I just want a way of working with the framework of the Course, which is we always have two options, and we only have two options. So if you can imagine that our energetic being, we've got a plug, like a three-prong plug, and we at any time have the choice to plug in over here to the ego thought system of separation. We all know what comes with that. It's the blame, it's the guilt, it's the punishment. It's again, everything that comes with the separation. then we also have the choice to plug into spirit. And I'm going to use it as an upward example because Jennifer teaches to partner up, to align with our holiness and to align with spirit. So we've got this plug. And so we got to choose where to put it. And like when we put it in the ego and we experience the effects, then we have to have the willingness to unplug it and then re-plug. So that can be like a subtle shift. It could be like on a dime. We're like, oops, nope, plug it in. But there are situations where we, for whatever reason, we're plugged into the ego. And that's where we keep going, especially under pressure or under like tension. We may easily go to the ego. And it's like we're overwhelmed. I know I kind of have recognized that over the years. It's like, oh, geez, okay. Why did I have that, that Groundhog Day experience of like, I did it again, I did it again. Okay. I responded that way. Okay, but that's not my intention, And so, as a mother of a 5-year-old, I'm going to use my daughter as my example today because what I would like to do is share 2 tools that I use. You may be familiar with these. Again, I'm not here to be groundbreaking. What I am here for, why I think it's important to have this topic, is for all of you as you're listening to consider. Number 1, do you feel like you've actually made a conscious commitment to see your brothers and sisters in truth? Have you made that commitment? Are you, so have you made it? And then are you keeping yourself to it? Not in a way of, again, not in a shameful way or not in a like, you better, but is that the vision for you? Is that the intention to see your loved ones in truth? So I would like for you, as I'm sharing today, it's not that I'm here to teach you something new. I mean, this is the basis of the course is like the atonement, the oneness. So that's what I'm putting out there. Like, are you committed? So let's take a moment. If you're willing to close your eyes, if you can. And let the shift happen where now it's an internal moment for you to have a conversation with yourself for a moment. And bring to mind a primary relationship in your life, whether it's yourself or whether it's with a loved one. And let it just be one person if you can. And then just ask yourself, how committed am I on a scale of 0 to 100? No judgment about it. Just see if that number arises for you. Where do I fall on this scale? What is my commitment level to seeing this person in truth with love? And if nothing comes, that's okay. And then one more question is, do you feel willing to see them in truth? Do you feel willing? Okay. Great. So as I go forward, consider that relationship and let whatever I share be more about you having a conversation with spirit about what might be your practice. What are your go-to tools? So I'm going to share 2 of mine, and then I'll take you into the meditation. So the other quote I shared last week, which I feel is paramount and necessary to be able to see our loved ones in truth. Whenever we forget and we plug into the ego and we either judge them or punish them or isolate from them, however we close our heart to them, that is our opportunity. And I'm just going to use it in the metaphor like this. So we noticed we were plugged in over here at the ego, and we take the plug out and we go like, whoa, what happened there? Now, we all know if we, in the text, I'm going to paraphrase, but we know that in the text it says that all of our wrongdoing can be healed if we give it to Spirit. Spirit can requalify all of our mistakes. So we need not analyze what went wrong. I feel the Course is saying, don't analyze it. Let go of the past and be available again to plug into me. That's what I feel the Course teaches us. And I would say that in my own personal practice, it has been beneficial for me at the times where I have what I would call like that Groundhog Day experience, like, okay, man, and it's painful. And something that's painful that you don't want to regurgitate. Is everybody hearing me or not? Okay. Okay. When you don't want to revisit such a painful moment, this is where I do find it helpful to have some spiritual tools. And so I'm going to share two. And again, I'm going to pull up a quote here. So let me get it on the right place, because last week I talked about this quote that stuck out to me because I had not remembered seeing it before. So, okay, I'm going to go into this mode to bring this up big. Okay, it's kind of a big quote. And so here we go. But it said, learn of his happiness, which is yours. But to accomplish this, all your dark lessons must be brought willingly to truth and joyously laid down by hands open to receive, not closed to take. Every dark lesson you bring to him who teaches light, he will accept from you because you don't want it. And he will gladly exchange each one for the bright lesson he has learned for you. Never believe that any lesson you have learned apart from him means anything. So this idea of bringing our darkness to Spirit, I just like it. And I think that that's what happens. You unplug and you say, okay, Spirit, take that choice, take that belief that I have. I don't want that belief. That belief causes judgment and separation and pain. So, okay, I'm going to get into the first tool, but that's kind of what I want you to have in mind, that as we commit to seeing in truth, it is for us to bring the darkness to the light. It is for us to bring the false to Spirit. And it is that we have to be willing. Oh, Linda, okay. Asking for the thing. I'm going to put, geez. I'll put that quote in the chat for you, Linda. Okay, so the first tool, okay, and I have the citation there for you. So that was chapter 14. Okay, this is just so funny. If you could just bear with me. I just want to have things open for you. Oh yeah, I do have it. And I did tell you last week that I talked to myself. Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. So the first tool I'd like to share is the Byron Katie worksheet. So if I change my view here, how many people use the Byron Katie worksheet? Anybody here? Hold on. Anybody? No. Okay. I'm not going to spend, okay. Oh, I raised my hand. Great. Yes, ma'am, I know you use it. Very good. Okay. So I'm going to just pull it up, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use an example of my own life and how I work with this. So the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet by Byron Katie, I can put this in the chat too. Here are the instructions at the top. It says, think of a stressful situation with someone, for example, an argument. As you meditate on that specific time and place and begin to feel what that felt like, fill in the blanks below. Use short, simple sentences. So one thing, again, you have to follow the directions. You don't have to, right? But it's most effective to follow the directions. And it says, think of one situation and you meditate on it. It is a meditation because you put yourself back into the situation when you were there, and you try to access what were you thinking and believing at the time. And because that's very important, because if you were plugged into ego, what was like the lure? Like you stepped in the trap. What were you thinking and believing? So I'm going to just work with really the first statement and then take you through how it works. There are 6 total statements on the worksheet. And it's interesting because she added this bit on the left, which if you look at these words, so first, the first statement is, in this situation, who angers, confuses, hurts, sadness, or disappoints you, and why? So who is it? So then you fill in, I am blank emotion with blank person because. Okay. So I'll share my statement in a moment. But if you look on the left, the next statement is about something you want to change. The third statement is about some advice you have for another person. The fourth statement is, what do you need in order to be happy in the situation? The fifth is a complaint. And what I love about this worksheet and in the next tool, it's both that it says at the end in parentheses, it's okay to be petty and judgmental. And in fact, we have to really say what was going on in our mind at the time where we forgot to be loving. And the last statement says, what is it about this person and situation you don't ever want to experience again? So, and if you look closely, the worksheet gives you an example throughout, so it helps you with an example. And this worksheet is free, and I'll put the link for you. So I had this situation with my daughter this week, and it actually happened twice, because you're preparing for a talk and you're like, okay. And then you're like, well, I'm bound to have practice this week. So we'll see what happens this week. And who knows, I might actually change the entire topic but you're kind of holding onto your seat like, Spirit, please. Like, I would rather stick to the topic. But so I had 2 similar situations where the essence is Justine, my daughter, 5 years old, was frustrated, and her frustration appeared to be coming right at me. And I'm talking about little cute fists. I'm talking about she was pulling out all her stops. She was frustrated. So, I do pretty well in the first. I don't know how long it goes, possibly 3 minutes. I can be like, oh, kumbaya, Zen master a little bit, 3 minutes. But as I move beyond 3 minutes, it can start to change and shift. So she was upset about being anyway, I don't need to even tell you, but it was that her frustration was really coming toward me. And then here's what I decided to do. So we're going to go through this together here. What was my statement and then what came of it? So now I wish I was an octopus with more arms. Okay. So as you start with the upsetting statement you were believing at the time. So I said this, I am upset. And that word can shift, but it doesn't matter. It really matter. But I'm upset with Justine, my daughter, because she's taking her frustration out on me. So at the time, I was getting frustrated because I said something like, okay, you look frustrated. Okay. But then what was happening is these words were coming to me and it was saying, but you don't get to take your frustration out on me. You don't want to hurt me. But she just had this energy, and I've done a lot of things, we're trying different things. It is constantly a arena of practice, and like, you kind of got to pivot on the spot because it doesn't mean the thing that worked yesterday is going to work today. That's just how it seems. But I do know because I know spirit, because I know love is the healer. I do know that in every situation, there is a way to respond with love. And that's what keeps me going, is I know there is a way. I don't always choose it. So I came up with that statement. That was my identifying statement. And now I'm not going to go through the whole worksheet, but I'm going to take that one statement and I'm going to work the tool through to the end for this statement. So what you do next is you question that statement. And again, you're mentally in the space you were in when the event occurred. You're not thinking about something now. You have to do your best to be in that mental space. So you ask the 4 questions and you say, is it true? Is it true? I'm upset with Justine for taking her frustration out on me. Is it true? And then I meditate at that time. Did it feel true? And I can say yes, there's no right or wrong. We want to be as honest as you can be because that's the most helpful thing. So it says yes or no. If no, go ahead and move to question 3. But for me at that moment, as I reflect on it, I honestly can say no, because what came to me was I was upset because I was overwhelmed and I didn't like what was happening. It wasn't even so much of her doing something to me, because like her hits don't really like hurt. I mean, they don't feel great, but they don't actually like hurt. So it wasn't so much that's where my upset came from. So that's already become clear. But if I had said yes, then I go to number 2. Can you absolutely know that it's true that that's the cause of your upset? And this is where the course comes in, because it's like we're never upset for the reason we think. And we may know that. We know that. And the invitation is to be in the mindset of where you were at when the event occurred. Try not to do that spiritual bypass of like, oh yeah, well, I know that's don't do it. That's not helpful. Go back. And then it says number 3, how do you react? What happens when you believe the thought? So for me, if my thought is Justine's taking her frustration out on me, and then here comes what comes, it says, no one gets to hurt me. You don't get to hurt me. I'm going to back up. I'm going to move away. You're hurting me. And so now I'm totally identified as a body. I'm separating from her, which actually makes her more anxious and upset because she needs me desperately. She needs help. So, but it does happen that when I'm believing the thought, she's taking her frustration out of me. And you know what truly happens is I think about something like my mom has said, which because she'll say to me, you never did that to me. You never hit me. And I'm like, oh, great. So then I have this compounded thing of like, well, you're letting this get way too far and you got to nip this in the bud and you got to, and this whole, then feel like I get overloaded with like the parental unconscious mind or something of like, oh my God, I got to like cease and desist. I got to like karate chop this thing down. And I'm so overwhelmed on top of overwhelm. And then number 4, which is like my favorite question, who or what would you be in that situation without the thought, Justine's taking her frustration out on me? So it's as if you can like become the observer a bit. Like it's not me and her as much as it's a cry for love arising. So who would I be without the thought that she can't do this or she's doing this to me? Who would I be? The first thing that came to me was I would be available. I would be available for help. So I would have like plugged in and be like, help me. She's frustrated. And so that's major. Just like, who would we be in intense situations without our judgments and opinions, without our fear? Love it. So that's a powerful process in itself. And then the next step is my favorite. My next step. So for, again, all the 6 statements, you do the 4 questions, and then you turn the statements around. And you kind of take this stagnant situation. And what I like to think about it, it's like a snow globe, and you like shake it up and you rattle it and you move it. And you're like, all right, well, let's see in another way. What else was available that I couldn't see? What else was going on? And the other part that's like so riveting is because we are one, what was I projecting on her and then believing and then making her wrong? How was I participating in this? So you have 3 ways that you turn the statement around. And for each turnaround, you find 3 pieces of evidence. So my first statement, I'm not upset with Justine because she's taking her frustration out on me. Okay, how could that be true? It's not her. I'm not upset with her. One of the things is because one of these situations involved her watching a TV show while I washed her hair, and then I can feel guilty, like I'm setting her up by having screen time and then no screen time. And I don't feel very well equipped to like support her transitions. So I'm not upset with her. I can be upset that it's happening. I can be upset that I feel responsible for kind of setting her up. So it looks like I'm upset with her because how she's acting, but I also feel responsible for how she's behaving. That's a possible evidence. I'll just give like one for each. The second turnaround, I'm upset not with Justine, I'm upset with me because I'm taking my frustration out on her. So you switch all the pronoun areas and you try on a different thing. And so I'm upset with me because I'm taking my frustration out on her. For sure, that scene played out to a point where at one point she said, I hate you. And I was like, and when she said it, it's like she didn't mean it. You could just tell she's just trying to throw every arrow she can. And I again heard someone say to me, like, I have a friend who says, we don't use that word in this house. And I have my husband who once told me, I'm afraid she's going to say that in public. So I have that coming in. And then I later said to her something like, do you know what hate means? That's like it's a very cruel thing to say. I kind of made her wrong for saying that. I'm kind of like lecturing her when in truth, she needs my help. She needs a calm, steady spot to land, decompress. She needs my help. The last one, I'm upset with me because I'm taking my frustration out on me. So you got to do this for yourself, but it's like, I do know that the teaching is kind of like, whatever I offer my brother is what I give myself. So what was I doing at points in this situation was I was lecturing her, I was pointing out how she's making choices that are unloving and unkind. And while I'm doing that, I'm basically living in that energy field of making her wrong, which inevitably is giving that energy to myself. So I'm taking out my frustration on me in that way. So again, there's no right answer. You're not looking for like the right answer. You're looking for what comes up for you, because when you partner up with spirit and do this exercise, and you're saying, Spirit, take any of this that is distorted, unhelpful, take this from me. Show me what was available I didn't see. Show me what I forgot when I made her separate. So you would do this multi-step process for every statement on that sheet. And what I like to do is I like to go for like the triple whammy. Like I go for the golden whatever. I just go for it. And I combine this with Jennifer's forgiveness letter. So for many of you I know who are here know the forgiveness letter. If you don't, that's okay. But we do offer 2 forgiveness letter writing workshops per month. And so you may even know what it is, but you may recognize, like, I never sit down and write that thing. I always find something else to do, or I never finish it, or I sabotage myself from actually doing that. So we have those workshops so that you can show up, do it with a facilitator so that it kind of holds your hand, not in a condescending way, but it's intended to be supportive. So what I do is with the forgiveness letter tool, I like to then take all that learning and basically set my intention for going forward next time. So the forgiveness letter, I'm just going to kind of go through it briefly. I already have it open. You know, when you're more prepared than you realize, and then you're like, I already prepared that. So there we go. There we go. The forgiveness letter tool is the second tool, and the second and final tool I just want to mention and bring forward. This is Jennifer's tool that she created. I think she had some inspiration to do this when she was in her ministerial training. She gives a background about it, and then she goes into helping you create the environment and having you set an intention for your letter. So if I was just working with that one statement about my child taking their frustration out on me, my intention would be to really anchor into who do I want to be, no matter what and how, no matter who Justine is being. So it has something to do with me being a loving presence in the face of her cry for love. So that could be my intention. And this tool has 12 prompts. You are invited to write a paragraph on each of them, but not to let that be a hindrance. By the time I get to this letter and I've already done the whole other thing, I typically just have headlines because I've already worked out a lot of things. I have headlines. I may not have full paragraphs. But the first 4 sections is about expressing your feelings, getting it out. And you're not supposed to like block these. Not supposed to make yourself wrong for being angry or afraid. You let all that out. Then you move into accepting what happened. And that's huge. I've worked with people for whom this step is really a huge one, because for some people in some circumstances, they're not actually ready to accept what happened. So that's a good learning and a good awareness. You may need to work with a spiritual counselor. You may need some support there because you may still be stuck in your feelings. But if you feel ready, like for me, I felt ready to accept at the moment that my experience with Justine, I did my best at that time. I do accept that. It wasn't my favorite. I wasn't super proud of myself. It's just, I know that I did my best. And now I can go to number 6. I accept what is now, that now is my divine opportunity to have learning and healing. And then the next section is just different ways that we are getting into our heart and asking for support. And then, so we express the deep desire of our heart, which is such a powerful statement. If in any relationship, you just said in any relationship upset, you just paused and said, what is the deep desire of my heart now? Because if I did that in that overwhelming experience, I would say, the deep desire of my heart is to let spirit guide me through this, not to let the world all come into my mind and overwhelm me. And I'm already overwhelmed. So it'd be like it would be like to plug into spirit. You go through, what am I doing to support myself? Part of that could be forgiving myself. You cannot get the gifts of the kingdom if you're not forgiving yourself. And that can be a block where we need some spiritual counseling there. And because you want to get to the promised land, you know? So then you say, what am I asking for from myself? What am I committing to? What am I asking for from spirit? Number 11, you go into gratitude. Gratitude that, number 1, we can make a new decision. Gratitude that my daughter is so forgiving. Gratitude that I have got to a place of being forgiving with myself. Gratitude for so much of it. And then last, and this is where I'll finish this section, is my loving and powerful intention going forward. My loving and powerful intention going forward. So that is where we are making that commitment. And we are saying, okay, here's kind of how I'd like that to go next time. And so what I stated for mine from this example was, and I kind of said it before, but my loving and powerful intention going forward is to respond to Justine's cries for love, with the help of Holy Spirit. I could have even said to respond to my own cry for love. I'm overwhelmed. She's overwhelmed. I don't have the perfect solution. I feel bombarded with a lot of different thoughts in the same moment. But I can also say that I can recognize, girl, you need, okay, hold on. You're getting overwhelmed too. You're kind of getting sucked into it. And this is where, this is for you to consider what in those moments would be helpful. Is it a hand on the heart? For some people, it's a deep breath. If you want to put in the chat, do you have any tricks? What do you do in your most challenging moments? Let's not keep these to ourselves. Let's share these. And so, I'm going to conclude with a quote from the Course, and then I'll take us into our meditation. But here's what we're up to. It said in chapter 13, use no relationship to hold you to the past, but with each one, each day, be born again. Give your mind in peace over to the atonement. So each day we have this opportunity. Jennifer teaches, it's in the Course really in some ways, but all forgiveness is self-forgiveness. If we can't actually forgive ourselves for making mistakes, that's where our work begins. I feel like 12 years in the ministry, I've gotten to a much easier place of forgiving myself. Now I can move forward and I can requalify situations that were painful, and I can set new intentions. But ultimately, the only one we truly must or truly need remember is plug into spirit. Plug into spirit. Where's our plug? Where are we at? How do we feel? What is it like? Have a willingness to plug it into spirit. Have a willingness to give our dark lessons to spirit and receive the truth. So I'm going to take us into a meditation. So if you would join me, hand on your heart. Just taking a breath. Bringing back to mind that relationship that came at first, the one that we would like, the one that we have, and then remembering our commitment level to seeing this individual in truth. And expressing our gratitude, jumping to the gratitude for the way life is set up, that we can make a decision now and it can shift everything. All healing's at the level of the mind. We are the decision makers. Our mind is the mind of God. How would we describe our mind? Do we have a peaceful mind? And as I gave my example, my mind can get flooded with all kinds of things. So my mind is really this neutral container for whatever I'm plugging into. So let's imagine ourselves plugging into spirit. And maybe you feel that in your physicality, like your spine is erect. Your shoulders are soft. What does it look like and feel like to be plugged into spirit? And as we plug into spirit and we keep this relationship in mind, what is the deep desire of our heart about this relationship? And it doesn't have to be a full statement. If any words or imagery comes, what's the deep desire of our heart? And then how can we support ourselves? What can we do to be more supportive of ourselves? To see this loved one in truth. And And let Spirit give you the answer. Turn off the intellect. And what support do we feel is required from Spirit or the infinite field, the company of heaven? What support would we ask for from them? And I've heard Jennifer say, Spirit, help me make the loving choices so clear to me, so obvious. And then what's our loving and powerful intention moving forward from today? Because the truth is, our ego, our personality would fall down again and again and again. And then we might even judge ourselves for doing that. We would be on that hamster wheel. But if our loving and powerful intention is to know that we have one plug, we have a plug, we have two choices: plugging into Spirit, being available, being open to the loving guidance. And so we give thanks, Spirit, to know that you are unconditionally waiting for us, infinitely patient with us, all forgiving of us, and that your step-by-step guide is awaiting our willingness. So thank you for your deep listening. Thank you for letting me share. So, okay, Andrea, you can come forward anytime you're ready. Take your time.
Thank you, Angela. What if every moment was a miracle? Every single moment, ooh, every cell within me is a miracle. Each and every breath, breathe, ooh, I say go high. The storm will soon pass. I say go high. The storm will soon pass. Ooh. Every knife thrown was a miracle. Every door that did close was love. I'm choosing to reveal peace. We are miracles. I'm choosing to reveal light. Ooh, I say go fly. The dark reveals light. I say go fly. The dark reveals light. What if every moment was a miracle? Every single moment, ooh, and every cell within me is a miracle. Each and every breath, breathe, ooh. I say go fly high. Fly.
Thank you. Beautiful. Oh, I love that. You just added a whole nother layer to what I was sharing. Thank you. What if it's all a miracle? Thank you so much. Okay, this is our opportunity to go into a breakout if you choose and share with others. We go into the breakout for about 12 minutes. So typically there's like 4 people in a group. And so we ask that you just share the time, just be mindful of time. And you can also just pass and say, I'd just like to listen. So no pressure. And just to share whatever came to you from the talk, the songs today, whatever spoke to you, what did speak to you, and how does that all feel? So we ask that everybody listen with the ears of compassion and non-judgment, and to refrain from unsolicited advice that would be plugging into the ego. And so I'm going to open the rooms, and then we can see you when you get back. Thank you. Okay, here we go. And sorry, I'm also the host, so I'm just keeping an eye on that. I think all is well. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here, Dove. Would you like to start with a share, Dove? You just have, I'm going to ask you to unmute just for that.
Can I
There.
be heard?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, this is fun. This is amazing. This is the first time I opened up my brand new computer. I haven't had a computer for 2 days, which is why I'm late. I just got it to work just now. And I really apologize for being late, but I had no other way. I see that Jennifer has a forgiveness letter. Was she supposed to be here today?
No, I just shared her tool.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just listen if it's okay, because
Okay.
obviously I missed the entire program, so I'll just
No
listen.
problem.
Okay,
Oh, thank you for being here and being committed to being here.
thank you.
I had no idea you were late, and it's totally
I
okay.
I just got here to hear Andrea's song. It was so beautiful. She has a
Um,
lovely, lovely voice. Thank you so much, Andrea. Okay.
yes, well, that gives it to you, Andrea, if you'd like to share. And Billy, feel free to jump in too, Billy.
Yes. And by the way, it's Andrea. I know
I
it's
keep
spelled.
getting it wrong, and I
It's no
knew it.
problem.
Okay,
I think
thank you.
if it's spelled with an O, it might be easier for people.
That's
But
true.
for me, first of all, I really enjoyed your talk today, so thank you. And that Byron Katie workshop, I'm going to look that up. That's really, I think, extremely helpful. And I was kind of going over in my mind a situation that happened. I'm like, oh, yeah. Anyway, but also, when I choose the songs, it's not always easy. You know what I mean? Especially because we do so many different kinds of communities. And we know that for some communities, we need a few softer songs, and some we need more upbeat. Anyway, when I chose the songs this time, I definitely wanted to do our new one, the first one we did, and I think it went over well. And then the other two, it was like, because I didn't know what you were going to talk about, but Spirit must have known, because Spirit kind of chose the songs. So even the last song is called Listening, which you were talking about listening. So that's kind of what I learned today. Billy, do you want to? Billy usually shares something.
I'm always ready to chime in. I like really more than anything. It was like it's about me. You know, it's always about me. I'd love to make it about you because it makes it so much simple to blame you. You know, But somewhere, like you say, it's all about forgiveness, and I got to forgive myself for whatever my shortcomings are, for being pissed at you because I think you're pissed at me. And then it's sometimes it sounds so simple about letting go and, you know, embracing our neighbors, ourselves, until I talk about Donald Trump and some other people, you know, then it makes it a lot tougher, because let's get real here. But if I'm going to do that, if there's only one of us here and we're all one person or one thing, somewhere along the line, I got to at least have enough compassion that goes, whatever that person is doing that I don't like, for whatever reason, they may be in pain, they may be hurting. If I saw them lying in the street bleeding, I'd probably go help them. But if they're yelling at me and doing a bunch of stuff I don't like, would I go help them? You know, it gets real. And but that's where you get introspection. You know, that's when I get to sit there and talk to myself about it and go, where do I really stand, and why don't I like that? Why am I upset about that? Why am I whatever? Why am I reacting the way I am? And if I can take it far enough in it, because somehow, bottom line, somebody's doing something that I don't like, and they're not doing it my way. You know, they're just not doing it my way. I don't care if it's a kid or Donald Trump, or baby always does it my way, so it's okay. Or I'll forgive myself. But and that's anyway. That's why I liked what you were talking about, because all the tools you were using were bringing it right back there, bringing it right back. I gotta look at me. You know, if I'm bummed, I'm pissed, I'm whatever, I gotta look at me. It's not you. It's a trigger. You might have triggered something, but it's still. I can. You know, it's like sometimes as you grow older, sometimes things that used to really bug you make you laugh now. Different perspective. It's just perspective. So whenever I really get upset or I do something like that, I go, it's perspective. Okay, relax. Life is eternal. I'm just, you know. And then move on. Anyway, that's what I got.
Beautiful.
That's all I got.
Thank you so much. Yeah, do you want to chime in after that? Or were you clapping in the air? Up to you if you want to respond to that or add something.
Yeah, I want to say just a word or two on that. The whole Course in Miracles is about acceptance. If I can't accept, that's the ego. You know, I mean, we all have the same thought about Donald Trump. But the truth of the matter is Donald Trump is son of God, just as I am. And he's playing his role perfectly, because if it wasn't for people like Donald Trump, there would be no lessons to learn. The lesson is I and my brother are one. It doesn't matter what his name is. Sometimes I don't like what he does, but what difference does that make? He is the son of God. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get to this. I'm just going to share this quote. I didn't get to do this one, but this is the one, like, every interpretation I would lay upon a brother is senseless. Let the Holy Spirit show him to you and teach you both his love and call for love. Neither his mind nor yours holds more than these two orders of thought. That was just helpful to me. That's why in my example with my daughter, it's like, okay, this is clearly a cry for love and help. And, you know, as we went through, and Dove, I just shared an example of my daughter, like, attacking me, being upset, being frustrated. And, like, you know, she didn't run and pummel me down. She did. You could see she's throwing these, like, little daggers, but she's restraining herself. She doesn't want to do that. She doesn't know what to do. Later on, when I was talking to her, I think I kind of was saying something to the effect of, like, it's not okay to do that. You are frustrated. But she's kind of saying, what do I do? And we've tried some different things. Like, I've tried to be like, because she likes to wrestle me. Now, wrestling, it's not like that raw. We have pillows and we come at each other and we just, like, pillow fight it out. It's not even like a brawl. But I've tried to shift her, but sometimes I'm like, you know, I'm still learning that. And I could, That's why in the forgiveness letter process, what am I doing to support myself now? Well, I might be asking a lot of parents, what do you do? How do you do this? And I can ask spirit in the moment what to do, and even anytime what to do. But it was so sweet because really at the end, she just said, I really don't know what to do. And I think sometimes it's just that mistake I can make where I can assume she knows and I can expect her to know. And if she knew how to do it, she'd do it. It's like, so it's a, you know, it's also a beautiful opportunity. Like when I can get up and out of the crazy, I can just be like, where do I do this? Where do I kind of go at someone? Instead of have some perfect, release outlet. I don't always do that perfectly. And so now I kind of like move into a place where I don't make it wrong. It's just to say, what are our options, girl? We have other options, And yeah, but it's been helpful to boil everything down to like it is the expression of love or it's the cry for love. When you boil it down, then you don't have to dismiss the other because you're like, all right, is this still some demonstration of love in those two forms? So
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you. Yeah. Anyone want to share anything else? Because we still have 2 minutes. No pressure. Anything else to add? Yeah. Great.
Sometimes too, we got to give ourselves a break. We're not supposed to know everything. We're not supposed to have all the answers. And sometimes if we don't, we got to remember that that person, whether it's a 3-year-old child or a 70-year-old man or whatever, has an inner being, has their spirit within them just as much as we do. Just like your daughter's looking for a way out, she just doesn't know. She's a little frustrated right now. You don't have to have the answer. You can want, the more you want to have the answer, the more you want to help her, that influence will benefit. But we got to sometimes give ourselves a break and just go leave it to spirit, because that's it. Everybody's got it. That's the thing we forget so many times. Like, oh, I know what's going on because I talk about spirit all the time and I study and all that. This person doesn't. Well, they have it just as much as I do. Anybody. They have it just as much as I do. Whether they're in that kind of contact, it's just my judgment, really. So in that sense, I think it's good to give ourselves a break with that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's what I thought.
That is super.
Mom, I get it.
Thank you so much. Because that also sparked me because what I like too about this is I get to also teach her on the fly. Like, I'm going to go to spirit. Here's what that looks like. Let's place our hand on our heart, or let's do something quick. We need help. We need help. Let's ask for help. Spirit, help us. Spirit, help us. I love that I get to like pass that along. Great. There's time for a final word here. I'm closing the breakout if anybody wants to get on the mic. No pressure. Andrea is getting ready for her next song. Okay. Corrected myself. Great. What kind of venues do you guys play at? Are you often doing online venues?
Well,
Both?
so during the pandemic, we were doing almost all online. But then over the past year, or year and a half, we've been going to live centers for spiritual living, agape, stuff like that.
Great.
Little communities all around.
Awesome. Well, it can be on my bucket list to see you guys in person.
Are you you're in Rhode Island, right? Or
Yeah.
okay.
Opposite the coast.
We're in Los Angeles, if
Okay.
you guys didn't know.
Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we do some announcements first once
Okay.
everyone is back, and then we will have you guys do our our last songs. So let me just see. I think are we still waiting? No, everybody's back. Okay, great. Welcome back. I trust you had a helpful discussion in the breakout. Thank you for staying on to that point. It's awesome. Yay. Okay. I am just making sure. Okay. So we are going to wrap up our show by just giving some announcements. And so for us at the Power of Love Ministry, just a reminder that you can help support the service by making a one-time donation or an ongoing donation. And yes, April, right there for me. So we put the link in the chat. It is at the Living A Course in Miracles website where you can make that donation. We also have the ACIM and inspirational text messages available, and that could be your way of donating. I feel like for the announcements, I'm just trying to recall, but I think we were going to mention that our next forgiveness letter writing workshop, because we just had one yesterday. So we have the next one coming up in June. I'm just checking on that date. I think it's the 9th. And I don't think we had a chance to update it because it just happened yesterday, but we can put the link for the forgiveness workshops in the chat so you can kind of keep your eye out for that. Because again, we walk you through the forgiveness letter process. You don't have to share it out loud or anything. It can really be a personal journey. June 9th. Thank you, April. Yeah, so I think those are our next announcements. Jennifer is, she's at a live retreat right now, but we are looking at offering Change Your Mind About Yourself. Last year, she did Change Your Mind About Your Body. This year, it's Change Your Mind About Yourself. So that's coming soon. We don't have details on that just because we're still working out those details. But here is somebody asked for the Byron Katie worksheet. I did link them, but it might have been lost in the shuffle here. So I will put the links for Byron Katie and the forgiveness letter. Bam. Again, just in case you missed it. And so I think that's all from the Power of Love Ministry. I guess I will just say one thing. I am a spiritual counselor as well, in case you feel inspired to contact me or work with me as a client. I'm totally open to that. I love it. And so I'm just going to put my link in the chat where you could book with me, but I'll also put my email in case you have a question about anything I said or want to ask me anything. So my email, I will do that and put that in the chat. But first, Andrea, I'd been saying her name wrong the whole time, but she helped me by giving me a little trick. So Andrea and Billy, I'm going to give this over to you guys. You guys can make any announcements you have, and as well as take us home with your last song. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been great to be here. I'm Andrea and it's Billy. I put a link to my website in the chat, and please join my email list, and I share when I come out with new songs, when we are doing live shows, etc. So thank you, and thank you so much. The song is called Listening. Yeah, yeah. In the beginning, God said, let there be light. And if darkness should befall you, open your eyes, open your eyes. When I am weary, I rest my head upon thy breast. And if I am lonely, I turn to you, God. You hold my hand, you are my breath. Sustain me, watch over me. I'm filled with grace. heart is open, my mind is free, and I am listening. Are you listening? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I shine my light, I see, clearly I see. At times I may tremble, and it shall pass. I live in you, you live in me. You sustain me, watch over me. I'm filled with grace. My heart is open, my mind is free, and I am listening. We are listening. And I'll not complain, I simply love thee. I won't spend my life in vain, I simply love thee. We will not complain, we simply love thee. You sustain me, watch over me. I'm filled with grace. My heart is open, my mind is free, 'cause I'm listening. I'm listening, I am listening. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Thank you.
Beautiful. So much fun. So beautiful. Some vocal acrobatics in there. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for bringing your light and your energy. What a blessing. Okay, well, I'm so grateful to close us out in prayer. I want to first thank April and Adrian, who are here to support behind the scenes today. And we'll send a special blessing to Jennifer and all of our participants in Arizona and blessing their journeys home. And so I'm just so grateful for these powerful reminder to listen and to hand everything over. Grateful for all the teachers and all the teachings that are available to us to support us in the self-forgiveness so that we can do the forgiveness of the world. We're grateful we really don't have to figure it out. We don't have to be a genius, just to have a willingness to plug into spirit. Let the answers be shown to us, remembering we need do nothing. How grateful to let it all go, to let the madness go, to reclaim our power, and to know that spirit is our true superpower. Grateful to go forward, committing to seeing all beings in truth. With gratitude, we let the healing be. We allow the atonement to be. And we know that it's done. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for staying to the end. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.